Okay, welcome to part two of this three stamp challenge here. I'm going to add in some clouds in here with the rip paper towel technique. And that's kind of getting around, this idea of three stamps, but it is still officially three stamps. But in a sense, you're kind of, I guess you're not making a stamp out of this, but we are kind of making a template out of a paper towel. But why not? Okay. So I'm trying to go for a nice uneven uh, rip here, and I'm just checking it out for variation and structure. I want it to look like a cloud here, but sometimes you have to do a little tweaking after your rip. One of the things you have to kind of figure out which way the grain is going with your paper towel too. Sometimes you start tearing it and it tears like, just straight across. So you do a little bit of, I don't know, whatever. It's kind of like molding or sculpting the, I guess the arcs. Now on this one, it's a little bit more important just because, the coverage is going to be quite a bit more extreme here. Okay, so let's see. You got to figure out which way, which way the ink applications go to. Okay, let's see. I think it's going to be a two-part. So here's like the peaks and the valleys. Okay, so I think on this one we're doing the valleys like in here, and then I think we come back in like this. Let's see, we're doing the valleys. I gotta get my bearings here. We're doing the valleys like this, and then, okay, up here. I guess it's always the valleys. Okay, I couldn't remember because here's the thing: a lot of times I'm doing this technique, but it's in white ink. So I'm doing the peaks in here because those are the rounded edge ones. But on this one right here, we're utilizing black ink, so I'm doing the opposite. I'm doing the shadows. We're defining the forms through the use of shadow. Okay, so let's see here. I don't need my big catalog underneath here. All right, so we're still going with the memories ink, and I'm going to use one of these sponges right here, these makeup sponges, like this. I think it'll be faster. I'm not sure. And I don't want, this ring, this rounded ring to be on here, but let's see what I can do here. So I'm going to work it in like this here. When you hear my voice trail off like that, I'm kind of, sometimes I'm wondering if that's the way it's going to go. So sometimes it's, theory, not, not application. Okay, so see, this is how it goes, and this is the edge of the cloud right here. I think that looks pretty good. I'm getting a little bit of this, this edge showing in here, but I think it blends in not bad. And plus, I'm getting kind of my bearings on using this one in this fashion right here. I would normally work through lighter tones, and I would glaze in colors like this. But this is just going in straight in with some black ink on here. I'm going to try to use drier touch, for this. In other words, I don't want this to be too juicy, to give me a really hard, definitive edge when I tap this down like this. But anyways, there's those clouds kind of working out like that. Okay, and we're going to do it in multiple layers. But I'll try to smooth this all out too, because what I'm getting is, what I'm talking about here is I'm getting this right here, you know, that type of look. Right there, those edgy types of things showing. Now mine's a little bit more condensed, but you can see it in there. So what I'm trying to do here as I develop my technique while doing this is I'm tapping in one area for a longer period of time. And as I do this, the sponge is getting drier and drier. And where I do see some of those edgy little areas, I'm trying to fill them in and not to have those little edgy marks as an isolated, you know, tap or application. So I'm filling in there. So you make it a little bit more dense, okay? But you do it not with a wet version of this, you do it with a drier version of this. So again, it's just kind of taking things nice and gradually. Okay. And I think I'm going to have like some lighting or something like this in the scene coming from maybe over here, over here. All right, so there's one edge in there. I kind of get a little bit crazy right there, but and then we'll build up some more clouds down here. You know, I don't want just this white area right in here. This is going to be varied right in here. And we'll build up over here and come into this area over here. All right, resuming here. It's a Monday, and I keep getting these texts. A Monday afternoon, I should say. Okay. So going in for a second layer here. Sometimes you can go for a little bit of a kind of a softer application. I mean, it's all up to you. It can be darker or lighter, or darker over here, lighter over there, whatever. Okay, see, that's kind of building up pretty decently right there. And you don't always have to go with the same, you know, you can switch this around and you know, kind of alter the the form, the shape, or you can tear more, you know, and go with a different one, or you know, just have multiple, you know, whatever tear templates. Eventually, you have to kind of switch this out because the ink starts soaking through this, and then it starts showing up in here, kind of in a pattern. So, you know, kind of watch that. Okay. Let's go over here. See, this is right here. Okay, so I don't want to just go down like this because that would be too repetitious. So what we do is we kind of move this around a little bit, or you can move it over here. This would probably be a little bit better like this, although that does look real similar. So you try to find a different kind of angle for it. Maybe this would be better like this, okay? So you have this coming up like this, and then you can build something here if you want to as well. So you just keep filling it in. And you don't want to fill it in so much where you don't have any of the white showing anymore, and it's just all these gray kind of, edge tear patterns or anything like that. But kind of have it varied enough. You can decide how much of that billowy white you want up there as well. All right, coming over here. Now there's just a small portion of it here, so I might not want to use too much of this, but I'll just add a little bit at a time. And if I like it, or if I deem necessary, I'll add more, but you can always start with just a real little bit like that. See that? So again, there's, it's really hard to kind of, I don't know, establish some sort of application of media when you're just adding it so slowly, and getting some sort of look that we're going after. All right, looking a little bit more stormy, actually, huh? Okay, let's see here. I'm going to start doing some a little bit more fine tuning here. Let's go with let's close this off over in this direction, I think. Or let me see here. The horses are facing this way, so should I have the lighting coming from that way, or should I have it coming from this way? We can have it coming straight down like this, but I have a feeling that right in that spot right there would look pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing this, kind of coming over from this way, so that I can close off this area in here. So, all right, so let me get my bearings. So this is going to be this way, I think. Okay, kind of developing, looking a little bit more dynamic, maybe too dynamic, but we shall see. See, here's what I'm going to do too. I don't want to make, here's this space right here, here's another space right here, I don't know, what is that, 1.5 inches, 2 inches or something like that. So I want to change this one a little bit more, so that it's not, the same shape, and it, starts getting too repetitious. I'm going to come in here too, I think, with a little bit of a cloud coming from above, like this. Okay, man, that was looking a little bit insane, but let's see how it works. And this area up here doesn't match the bottom at all because I haven't done any shading on it yet, so we'll be doing that later. Okay, let's address this cloud right up here. Ew. I needed to condense that tapping a little bit more. I got all those rings everywhere. Okay. Yeah, a little bit insane. But like I said, we'll be doing some more toning, which maybe I'll start right now. I'm going to try to blend in some tone into the scene, and specifically the clouds right now, but I think I'll be using some colored pencil on here too. Just minimal, like grayscale. Fairly heavy in the upper left and right corners to create a little bit more of a kind of a strong vignette. And all of this needs to be toned out, to really get some of that lighting coming from in there. So if that's going to represent the lighting area, then everything else has to be kind of toned out, especially the area around it. So we got a little ways to go here. I'm going to take my torn paper towel. I find this to be a little bit smoother of an applicator. So if you're applying something in this kind of motion right here, someone said, hey, I can't use those paper towels because mine is textured. Okay, so if you just go with the textured paper, all paper towels are textures. So if you do that, it looks like this right here, right? Because it's going to be the pattern of the paper towel. But, you know, with the paper towel, you know, you just go like this, right? Now it's a smooth applicator there. It's because you flattened it out, you know. It's, you know, paper towels are, you know, they're soft and, you know, porous. So, you know, that's what you get there, you know, as opposed to all those little, you know, patterned textures on there. Okay, so let's see if we can get our bearings here. There's a lot of you know, textures and information in here. You know, where the rocks are and where the water is. Basically, at the base of a lot of rocks, what we do is we add, you know, the shadows to it, because you can see those rocks are darker right here, right? So in those areas, you just kind of darken them in a little bit, like this, or, you know, you can darken them in a lot, but to start off with, you just kind of start off with a lighter shade like that. That's like a 5% version of gray, because this is so dark right here. So if you want to make things easy, you don't go into it with a big, you know, slathering of ink on this. It's just kind of a real dry version of it. So you're applying like that. Even if I go like that, I mean, that was a real hard version, but, you know, tap, but it's like a 5% gray or something like that, right? So that's what you do. And so I'm applying 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%. It's going like 5, 6, 7, 8% gray. And it, you know, it takes a couple seconds to do. But you have more control than going in straight from, you know, your ink and just going on straight down here. Sometimes people can't see it. I was mentioning this to people in the demonstration that I was doing. You know, anytime someone has a hard time doing something, it's like with the media, they're applying way too much at one time, okay? So they'll go like this, and they'll go like that or something like that. It'll leave a really dark mark, but if you're going and leaving that mark right here, or even lighter, you know, like something like that, you know, you'll have a lot of control over it. But if people are doing that with a black ink, they expect to see like a darker version of it, like with one stroke or something like that, instead of making that version of gray out of, you know, I don't know, whatever, a 10-second process or something like that. They want it in like that 1-second process, but that way is much more user-friendly and you know, just easier to apply in a much more graceful manner. So think of it like you're applying, you know, instead of wet ink, think about it like you're applying like some like graphite or something like that that you've rubbed on here, and then you're applying it like that, a little bit of, you know, like pencil lead or something like that. That's kind of the sensibility of it, okay? And then you'll, like I said, you'll have a lot of control over it, and you know, just less chance of getting kind of an undesirable mark, because if you're applying like a 1% gray or something like that, you can barely see it. So always kind of, you know, watch what you're doing, and you know, have an awareness of you know, what you're doing and how it's affecting the lower area like that. So, or yeah, in this case, I'm talking about your surface area, not the lower area. So right in here, I'm just kind of, you know, I'm toning my rocks out. I don't have them fully developed or anything like that. I'm just kind of starting off with a real light tone, and then I'll develop my shadows as we go along here. So I'm just kind of taking everything and putting on like some version of gray, and then in the deepest of shadows in some areas, it'll get darker and darker and darker. Maybe, I don't know, I'm guessing like a 60% gray or 70% gray, something like that. Well, there's a lot of open area down here in the water area. I might put some of this type of texturing down in there. Which I do with the rubber stamp, but, you know, I'm not allowed to here, so... because of the challenge, the 3-stamp challenge. This memories pad is probably, I don't know, 15, 16 years old, I'm guessing. Maybe more, I don't know. But it was brand new. I forgot when I opened it. I think I did a video of it or something like that, like a show and tell video. Let's see what this kind of old pad, but new, will look like. And like I said, it was kind of delaminated, and the pad is separated from the case. But you know, there's still a decent amount of ink in here. Not as moist as I'm sure, you know, it would be if it was brand new, but not too bad. Okay, I need to get a little bit more gutsy now. You know, this area up here still is not, you know, kind of reading as my source of light, so I do need to make some other areas a little bit darker, at least, than it, if not a lot darker, you know, to really kind of point this in direction of this kind of lighting. So you can see these clouds over here are, you know, they're just about as light as that, so I do need to come into these and add some tone. Just looking at it over here, it looks, you know, I like them like that, but in the context of the scene and the source of light in the scene, it, you know, it doesn't make sense to have, you know, the reflected light as the, you know, the source of light. So we'll make that the source more apparent by making it more prominent. I like some things that are going on in these rocks in terms of the lighting, but it's like, I gotta make you darker. In the name of the overall. Kind of darkening in my foreground here. Just to make this illuminated area a little bit lighter. Okay, adding in some little textures. deepening the shadows little by little. Okay, looking pretty good. We still need to target, you know, a lot of areas in here to kind of really focus that attention. There's a little bit too much texture up here. As is, I should probably add some more trees up there going against those clouds. Maybe I'll try that right now, actually. You know, we can have some more trees like right up here. There's just, those clouds are a little bit too prominent. And remember, it's not the a 3 impression challenge. It's a 3 stamp challenge, so we'll be using the same stamp here. Okay. Looks pretty good. And we'll do the same thing over here. Okay, looking a little bit busy up there, but we'll cut down the contrast of that a little bit more too. Okay, so I think that will be the second stage in this piece right here. These trees up here are going to be a little bit moist for a little bit of time, and I want to go over it with quite a bit of tone here. So to do that, we need them really quite dry so that they won't be smearing in there, although they're going to be in kind of a darker zone anyway, so you know, if it does smear a little bit, you probably wouldn't be able to see it. But yet, you know, this is a pretty big piece, so I want to approach it in a, you know, a pretty controlled manner to get it just the way that I want to. But I really like the way that it's developing right now with the Could have a lighting scheme in here. I think I can go a little bit darker right here, maybe a touch. You know, add in some streaks in here. Maybe that'll be easier to do with the colored pencils or something like that, though. And then we'll use some white pigment ink as well in here. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be adding light rays in here or not. But that's always a possibility, and it can kind of break up some of the monotony of the you know, the limited range of forms in here. Okay, so anyways, that's part 2. Thanks so much for watching. And we'll see you, hope to see you on the part 3.